Flash will be able to take it down if he spots it, and if he moves in close. Flash is a decent tank position there at range, gets scanned, but I think he's not going to be engaged. Flash has a lot of raids to help support, to help spot, and more tanks in position. Leta has more auxiliary troops, but Flash is the superior tank number. Just all comes down to who can do what. Tanks of Flash is moving in position, going to try to shell the tanks of Leta, taking most of those tanks out, just taking a little bit of fire. Scans going off as well, not just using the raids, because there is that one Goliath there in position to take out the raids just in case something happens. Also, CV's in position to repair those raids, so Flash being overall extremely careful in making sure that he can repair his troops. Goliath's going to start attacking the scouting, or rather spotting barracks there. Flash is maneuvering his tanks around, going to siege them all up. What Flash is doing, of course, is keeping all of his tanks as a rather large grouping, and they can all siege up at the exact same moment, and all can take pot shots at exactly the same moment. And Flash apparently going in around, actually thinking of flanking with those raids from the right side, thinking of maybe 5, maybe even 6 raids. They all come in and cloak at the same time, going to be able to do a lot of damage. Decides that he rather wants to do this rather than try to use those to attack the tank line. And Flash really has to do some economic damage, because Leta is taking the 9th base as a response to the economic damage that has been taken. He's lost a lot of SUVs. Scan going to go off, but Goliath is going to go down, so it's going to be useless. Those rays are going to be able to do a lot of damage. Flash responds to this a little bit by taking the 1 o'clock expansion at the upper right, so he's also going to try to equalize the position. Honestly, if both players stay on the same amount of bases, I think Flash is going to be a little bit ahead, because he has done a lot of economic damage. Leta now getting his second dropship, so he's going to go for full-on dropship. I'm not quite sure if Flash spotted that or not. He should have been able to chase it down, take it out. And actually going to go for the armory now, going to attempt to take out the armory. This, of course, will completely stop the Goliath production, but now Goliaths are running into position, and raids are going to be under fire from them. Flash not running them away too much, and I think he lost one wraith there before he managed to cloak. And now Leta has dropped his own tanks, now going to start shelling the main of Flashes. All the SUVs going to run out just in time, and the dropship is going to get taken out by the race though, and those tanks are in severe jeopardy. Are getting taken out. Not going to, just going to try to shell one of those starports, but not going to be successful in doing too much. I was going to take it out completely by all those raids. Flash still has a huge number of raids in here. I think 8 at this point. Now Leta finally turning up everywhere, because he knows that scanning and Goliath just won't be able to save him. Also getting a science facility, apparently, probably thinking of continue his upgrades. Flash running around, destroying the turrets and the SUVs building before they can do anything. Scans going off, and Leta moving in with Goliath, but wraiths running back just before they come under too much fire. Gum into too much fire. Gum TV under too much fire. Flash sieging some tanks at range near Leta's 9 o'clock. Just going to start shelling some Goliaths there in position. Try to take some out. Scan going off, spotting the race. The race going to be under fire. One of the race does go down, I believe. Dropship! Oh! Leta losing his second dropship. I think there were some troops inside that, because you saw the look on his face. He did not look happy about losing that one single dropship. Probably had a few tanks inside. Did not look very happy about losing, I've got to tell you. Now Flash going to again go for harassment, taking out one single Goliath, but then running back, deciding not to take out the turret that was in that position as well. Flash still just sitting on nothing but 2 factories, just producing constant amount of tanks from that, and producing constant wraiths. So he just doesn't really have anything aside from tanks and wraiths. And I got to see this very interesting, very unusual game. I love seeing non-standard TVT. You still have these players, particularly Leta, they're camping outside his bases, trying to put up a defensive perimeter with these tanks, make sure he can chill anything comes in. Random Marine Scout now being taken out there. But yeah, overall it's just a very cool non-standard game. 4th factory now coming up for Leta, so he's going to try to build even more ground troops. So Leta did get those early raids, but weren't too successful, so now just trying to go for drop strategies. Another dropship coming up, and he's mostly using ground force. A lot of Goliaths coupled with a rather large number of tanks, because he has, of course, more factories up, and he's not focusing on aerial forces. Well, Flash is. Flash, of course, with those starports, will be ready for Goliath should this game come to that. Also, the first dropship actually now out for Flash, now adding 2 more factories at this point. Finally going to start macroing up anymore. Leta getting up his 5th factory as well. Both players going full macro mode at this point. Science facility of Leta is now going to be floated off, so it's most likely just for upgrading purposes, and can use that science facility to spot for him. Turrets being placed everywhere by both players. Leta also putting up a defensive perimeter on the right side to defend his 1 o'clock expansion, just trying to put up lines of tanks that can start shelling anything that might come close. Some SCVs being taken out there. Turrets being put everywhere. This, of course, very interesting. This new part of Medusa that the middle is highly buildable now. And now Flash actually is going to try to pincer in, going to get a scan off, start attacking, but there are forces on the right that they started firing to at instead. Flash apparently not quite in both tanks' lines, not quite in range of each other apparently. Now some more rays flying out, taking out Goliath, who was checking out the 3 o'clock position. Completely taken out. So yeah, Flash has a much larger number of tanks, and now has a dropship out, so I'm going to see whether he actually tries to go for harassment. Has 3 dropships out. So he might be just thinking of loading up a crap load of tanks and go siege something. Has a lot of raids running out, going to take out some random turrets. We'd apparently thinking of taking the 5 o'clock for himself, but if that was the plan, it is going to be delayed a little bit. Those raids flying around from Flash, just being very successful, just flying around, harassing as much as they can. Not really taking out too many more SCVs, but trying to just scout around, spot possible expansions that Leta might be thinking of putting up and preventing it. Flash actually going to add in another command center at the 1 o'clock, going to float it off to another base, and now we have 4 dropships. Probably 5 dropships. Probably all going to go for tanks. So, Flash is thinking of going for full-on Doom drop here. Going to drop as many forces as he can. He's probably going to have to use those wraiths as auxiliary forces to try to support those just in case. But of course, no wraiths out for Leta, so he's not going to be able to catch them all. If this kind of drop, Leta would be probably suicidal for him to go for this kind of drop that Flash is going for now, because if Flash would catch him with a huge amount of wraiths that he had, that would be curtains for him there. T is good. Both players just camping around. They're in the middle, a little bit closer to the right. Leta actually holds the middle a little bit more, but Flash just has a large tank line to the right that is just waiting for, both players just waiting for each other to move out. And Flash doesn't have much in terms of forces aside from that. He might be possibly resupplying that line just a little bit each time. But overall, he's just waiting to go for full-on drops. Some rays coming in, try to take out dropships. 1 dropship goes up, both dropships goes down. Flash, definitely, I think there wasn't really anything inside of those dropships, but Flash sacrificing, I think, half of his wraith to take out both those dropships to prevent any drops from coming in. I think this is a sacrifice that he will gladly take. Still manages to use those wraiths around as scouts, just tries to take out as many dropships as he can. Leta again floating off another command center during the 5 o'clock. We're going to see will the wraith manage to spot, then take it out. Flash also taking his mineral only inside of his main. Now another scan going off on those wraiths. Another wraith almost gets taken down, but not quite. I'm still not seeing that drop from Flash that I'm waiting for. He has, I think, 5, probably 6 dropships at this point, all just ready to go for a drop. They're on the move there. We're going to see what it is that he goes for. Both players have full-on science facilities, full-on tech. We're going to see. The game's probably not going to start evolving anything else so far, but Flash moving towards the south, actually probably going to go for this position here, 5 o'clock. It's very weak, has nothing but a couple of turrets to defend it. Nothing too much else. There are a couple of wraiths to spot there. On the opposite, Leta actually moving out with his force against the forces of Flash, taking out the entire tank line that were threatening him. And we're going to see Flash actually, no, he's going to fly by. He's going to ignore the 5 o'clock. Actually going to possibly go for this position here, the mineral only that Leta has just now established. We're going to see the drops on the several tanks go there. Most of the tanks go there. Several sieging up, several not. And Goliath's there to support them. So Flash finally now has some ground force to help them support these tanks. Leta, meanwhile, has mined out his main, so the tank's not going to be able to do too much there, but they are going to take the high ground here to start ranging the tanks of Leta's. Leta is going to be able to stop the mineral only from coming down. Flash also now taking down the 2 o'clock position, the main at the 2 o'clock, also going to try to take advantage of those bases, but he's going to have to prevent the mass amount of forces that are coming up for Leta. Leta has a lot of Goliaths with a lot of tanks. Dropship flying to the position, but a lot of Goliaths there to meet them. The dropships are going to have to fly back. 1 dropship, 2 dropships go down. A 3rd dropship going to go down. So I don't think Leta really had much in the way of forces on those dropships, but now also on the opposite side, Leta's going to drop with his own dropships down on Flash. So now this game is actually turning around a little bit. Leta going to prevent the 2 o'clock from coming up. We're going to see whether he uses that. Also now stops the harassment that was coming up on his mineral only. And we're going to see whether he actually tries to prevent the 2 o'clock from mining. Still Goliath firing at the command center. Command center stops moving, so I think that's probably going to get taken out. Flash dropping again. Tanks and Goliath towards that position. But at this point, it's a full-on dropship war. Flash also now kills this. I think he managed actually to keep his command center alive, so he's going to be able to establish his 2 o'clock, but he really has to start repairing it right now. I don't think there are any SCVs in position. I think that command center might actually burn down, because I'm not seeing any SCVs whatsoever. We're not producing too much in the way of troops at this very moment, while Flash building some glides here and there. Has established his mirror only. Has mined out his main at this point as well. Another drop coming up for Leta, trying to... Both guys just fighting for the 2 o'clock position right now. Another dropship coming in. More dropship coming in from Flash as well. Leta trying to pick up his forces just out of the way of that drop. Both players full-on dropship. This is more your standard TVT though, but both players dropping so radically all over the place that it is in the CV in position to help rebuild this 2 o'clock position, so it is going to stay alive. Both players with a huge amount of dropships at all sides. Now it's just going to come down to how many bases each has.